Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to discuss about the subject school, community and teacher. It's lecture number 12. The topic of today's lecture is agencies of socialization. The outlines of lectures are introduction, agencies of socialization and examples with some pictures. So first of all, agencies of socialization. What does it mean? The significant individuals, groups or institutions that influence our sense of self and the behaviors, norms and values that helps us function in society. So these are various groups or institutions that play a significant role in the socialization of an individual and in shaping that person's personality. So there are different agencies of socializations. So what are those agencies? Like family, peer group, church or mosque, school, mass media, workplace, gender socialization. So these are basically some agencies of socialization. So we will discuss one by one ahead. So first of all, the family. What does it mean? How it plays as a social agencies of socialization. We know that every child is born into a family. The home or family is the first social agency with which a child comes into contact. Interactions with other members of family, parents, siblings and others have a lasting influence on the personality of the child and his social behavior. The role of family, particularly the parents, in shaping the social behavioral patterns of the child was highlighted for the first time by Freud. No doubt the similarities among parents and children in their behavioral patterns was noticed much earlier, but very often it was assumed that this was due to genetic or hereditary factors. It was Freud who for the first time analyzed this phenomena and showed that genetic and hereditary factors are not responsible for this phenomena. So using the formulations of psychoanalytic theory, Freud attempted to explain the impact of parental behavior, parental attitudes and early childhood experiences on the development of the personality and social behavior of the child. The family is the society in miniature, observed Freud. The above statement highlights the crucial role of the family in the socialization process. So a human child compared to the young animal is much more dependent on the family and for a much longer time. So this fact to a large extent is responsible for the enduring and significant role of the home in the process of socialization. So psychoanalytic theory of personality development attempted to highlight how even such basic and apparently non-social interactions like feeding behaviors, toilet training and other forms of child rearing practice can very much influence the child's style and manner of social behavior. So an individual who is over aggressive in his behavior is often so because he himself was at the receiving end as a child of very aggressive and or dominant mother. So it is often said that an ill-treated daughter-in-law becomes a cruel mother-in-law. Psychologists have also studied the phenomena called learned helplessness. Families play an important role and has a special responsibility in the socialization of child. So it is the most influential group in the child's life. People who are highly helpless and dependent are very often so because they have been either overprotected and over indulged and as a consequence have not learned to be independent and accept responsibilities, or because they have been rejected or not cared for, not receiving any attention or warmth during the rearing practice. Then The other group is other agencies, that is peer group. What is meant by peer group? It is informal grouping of two or more members, more or less of same age, neighborhood or school. The term peer group means the group of equals with whom a child interacts. This can be play group or a classroom group or a group of people more or less of the same age and growth level. The role of the peer group in the process of socialization is quite significant. The peer group influence attains its highest level of influence during the teenagers. As we have discussed before, that Freud observed that during this period, named by him as latency period, this is the period this is the process of socialization is very fast and very intense. Sullivan called this stage the juvenile era. According to Sullivan, the process of socialization proceeds with maximum intensity during this period. So this age has also been called the gang age by some people. So peer group influence is evident in the development of interest, values, communication styles, etc. So similarly, sharing behavior and the sense of right and wrong are areas where the peer group influence is felt. So it is one of the agency of socialization not controlled primarily by adults, and it becomes an important reference group. Like peer group influence can also be negative. Very often children develop negativistic attitudes and deviant patterns of behavior as a result of peer group influence. So it has been found that juvenile delinquents very often functions as gangs. The importance of peer group influence can be readily seen when we compare the social behavior of students who stayed in hostels with those who have not stayed in hostels. So the other agency is, that is the worship place. Worship place means, as we know, that religion is another agency which is involved in the process of socialization, particularly in the development of values and attitudes. So the readers might have come across the term Protestant ethic. This is used to describe values, attitudes and orientations of certain groups of people who subscribe to the faith of Protestants. So thus the values, attitudes and orientations of the people in the Pakistan is generally described as representing the moral values. So many religious institutions also uphold gender norms and contribute to the enforcing through socialization. From ceremonial rites of the passage that reinforce the family unit to power dynamic that reinforce gender roles, organized religions foster a shared set of socialized values that are passed on through society. So it provides for the spiritual and moral needs of the child. It helps foster loving and harmonious relations with others in the family, neighborhood, school and the wider community. Religion has been an important factor in society. Religion is a collection of cultural systems, beliefs, systems and world views that relate humanity to spirituality and moral values. In the early society, religion provided a bond of unity. Though in modern society, the importance of religion has diminished, yet it continues to mold our beliefs and ways of life. Agents of socialization differs in effects across religious traditions. Some believe religion is an ethnic or cultural category, making it less likely for the individuals to break from religious affiliations and be more socialized in this setting. So parental religious participation is the most influential part of religious socialization. So more so than religious peers or religious beliefs. So in every family, some of the other religious practices are observed, or one or the other occasions. The child sees his parents going to be temple or mosque and performing religious ceremonies. So He listens to the religious sermons which may determine his course of life and shape his ideas. For example, children raised in religious homes are more likely to have some degree of religiosity in their lives. So they are also like to raise their own children with religion and to participate in religious ceremonies such as different weddings and etc. So religions plays a very important role in socialization. So agents of socialization differ in effects across religious traditions. So some believe religion is an ethnic or cultural category, making it less likely for the individuals to break from religious affiliations and be more socialized in these settings. So parental religious participation is the most influential part of the religious socialization. So then religious peers are religious beliefs. So we can also say that socialization continues as the individuals joins Islamic based organization or ministries. The next agency, this is the school. How the school act as a agency of socialization? We all know that after family, the educational institutions take over the charge of socialization. In some societies, simple non-literate societies, socialization takes place almost entirely within the family. But in highly complex societies, children are also socialized by the educational system. So schools are not only teach reading, writing or other basic skills, they also teach students to develop themselves, to discipline themselves, to cooperate with others, to obey rules and to test their achievements through competitions. Schools have a lot of role in reshaping the personalities of students. Schools teach sets of expectations about the work, professions or occupations they will follow when they mature. Schools have the formal responsibility of imparting knowledge in those disciplines which are most central to adults functioning in our society. It has been said that learning at home is on the personal, emotional level, whereas learning at school is basically intellectual. We can say that it helps the child to get along with other kids, and this is responsible for inculcating knowledge, skills, and which prepares them for adulthood and become productive and effective citizens of the country. So this is the role of school that is playing as an agency of socialization. It is a formal agency of winning a child from home and introducing them into society. Everything we learn from schools, teacher covers and develop the personality of the students as per Bloom taxonomy through different domains like psychomotor domain, affective domain, clear cognitive domain. So from all these perspectives, the teachers try to develop and shape the individuals in the schools. So this is due to the school, which is called a formal agency of having child from home and introducing them into the society, because when our students pass out from universities, colleges, and then when they enter into society for performing practical tasks, so that is basically the system, the education system that reflects into that child. The next agency is mass media. Mass media as an agency of socialization. From early forms of print technology to electronic communication, in which radio, TV, etc. comes, the media is playing a central role in reshaping the personality of the individuals. Since the last century, Technological innovations such as radio, motion pictures, recorded music, and televisions have become important agents of socialization. Television, in particular, is a critical force in the socialization of children almost all over the New World. According to a study conducted in America, the average young person between the age of 6 and 18 spends more time watching the tube, 15,000 to 16,000 hours, than studying in schools. Apart from sleeping, watching television is the most time consuming activity of young people. It permits imitations and role playing but does not encourage more complex form of learning. So watching TV is a passive experience. Psychologist Yuri Bronfeld Brenner has expressed concern about the insidious influence of TV in encouraging children to forsake human interaction for passive viewing. So apart from newspaper which carry printed words, the two other mass media, the radio and television, exercise tremendous influence in the socialization process. So they assault our ears and communicate directly their messages, and these messages also contains in capsule form uh, form the premises of our culture and attitudes and ideologies. Its function is to inform, entertain, or educate. It is designed to reach a large audience. It influences our opinions on almost every issue that is something good and sometimes bad. The individual cases, of course, the importance of these influences varies. Different people react to the same suggestion differently. So responses vary in terms of their natural predilections. Some of us respect traditions, other fears the opinion of their peers, and still others prefer to listen to the thousand tongues of conscience. So David Resman has characterized the first group as tradition directed, the second as other directed, and the third as inner directed. While discussing the nature and impact of socialization process, one cannot afford to ignore these innate characteristics of human nature. Agency of socialization is the workplace, where we interact maximum part of the day. Now, workplace. This is a fundamental aspects of human socialization, involves learning to behave appropriately within an occupation. How one will fare out of work. From the workplace, one learns to socialize to accompany norms and values. Eventually, there is a commitment wherein the work becomes a part of person's self-identity. So, occupational socialization cannot be separated from the socialization experience that occurs during childhood and adolescence. We are mostly exposed to occupational roles through observing the work of our parents, of people whom we meet while they are performing their duties, and of people portrayed in the media. The workplace performs its socialization function through onboarding. This is the mechanism through which new employees acquires the necessary knowledge, skills, and behaviors to become effective organizational members. Employees with certain personality traits and experiences adjust to an organization more quickly. It provides employees with the skills and customs necessary for participating within the corporate culture and increase motivation. Generally, socialization shapes the way employees view teamwork, work habits, and the sharing of information, which are all important factors for small business. Information seeking occurs when new employees ask questions of their co-workers to learn about the company's norms. The workplace performs its socialization function through onboarding. So I have discussed that this is the mechanism through which new employees acquire the necessary knowledge skills. Then the other agency is gender socialization. What is meant by gender socialization? Through gender role socialization, group members learns about sex differences, social and cultural expectations. While boys and girls differ greatly, there is not a one-to-one link between sex and gender, role with males always being masculine and female always being feminine. So gender socialization is the process by which individuals are informed about the norms and behaviors associated with their assigned sex, usually during childhood development. From infancy onward, a person is socialized according to the age, sex, role scripts related to the institutionalized status of male and females. So it is an interaction with the family and other agencies of socialization. Sex means it refers to the biological or anatomical differences between males and females, and gender means it connotes the psychological, social and cultural differences between males and females, and it is a complex social meeting that are attached to biological sex. So gender socialization is the process by which we learn our cultural gender related rules, norms and expectations. The most common agents of gender socialization, in other words, the people who influence the process, are parents, teachers, schools and the media. So through gender socialization, children begins to develop their own beliefs about gender and ultimately form their own gender identity. Now there are some sex differences. Sex differences means this is a key component of this process, and this is the process of internalization and acting out of gender norms. To illustrate how this happens, we asked friends from around the world, from the social media, for example, of how boys and girls are socialized differently in their culture. If at all, in early childhood, parents and caregivers may dress male and female children in different colors. For example, pink for girls and blue for boys in different countries. So this is what a nice dress you have. You are so pretty, while they are most likely to point out the activities and abilities of boys. Means you run fast, you are so stronger. So these are what we say about different genders. While the intensification of genders, attitudes and roles during adolescence is linked to many negative outcomes. So this period also presents a great opportunity for adolescents to develop more equitable gender attitudes and behaviors in order to decrease the negative outcomes. These are the function of cultural patterns which prescribe differential expectations and norms for female and male and females. So here there are some references. Thank you very much for being with me. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.